Hello friends, myself Dr. Awasthi Sudarshan Subhash. In today's session, we are going to discuss about Shakespeare's sonnet number 60, the title of which is Like as the waves make towards the pebbled shore. Friends, the theme of this sonnet revolves around time and its effect upon human beings. The concept of time has been chosen by Shakespeare to express his love for his friend. My friends, time, which brings everything into existence, destroys everything also. Time passes rapidly, minute by minute. Time waits for no one, and time spares no one also. According to the poet, that is Shakespeare, time is armed with a sheath which cuts down everything in a relentless manner that comes in its way. The poet Shakespeare says, like as the waves make towards the pebbled shore, so do our minutes hasten in their end, each changing place with that which goes before. Shakespeare says, as everything else, his friend too would die one day in a physical sense. But the sonnets which Shakespeare is writing in praise of his friends would preserve his friends' name, his friends' fame, and his friends' beauty for all times to come. The poet begins the main idea of his sonnet by saying that just as the sea waves advance towards the seashore on which lie pebbles, in the same way the minutes of our lives pass quickly to bring our lives to an end. Each minute of our lives quickly follows the one which had just passed, and each minute strives to travel as fast as possible to replace the one which has already passed. Friends, further he illustrates his idea by saying, just as a child is born in a blaze of publicity and in the midst of rejoicing, then it begins to grow slowly and achieves the age of maturity. After the child has reached the summit or the top of his life, the zenith of his life, the malicious influence of the hostile stars begins adversely to affect his high achievements, and time, which had previously bestowed its gifts upon him, now begins to destroy those very gifts to deprive him of them. Time destroys the beauty which it had previously imparted to a man when he was young. As a result, a man is deprived of the beauty of his face because of the wrinkles which appear on his forehead in his old age. This time fades itself by destroying the beauty of those rare men like poet's friend who were created by nature as part of the reality of this world. The result is that everything to be found in this world is cut down or destroyed by the sharp instrument of destruction which time possesses. And yet the poet expects that the sonnets which he is writing will last long in the times to come, and to preserve his beauty and his worth in spite of the cruel hands of time. So the poet expresses his feelings in the following manner. He says, "And yet to times in hope my verse shall stand, praising thy worth despite his cruel hand." Friends, as we see, this sonnet describes the speed at which time travels, first to bring about a welcome change in the life of a human being, and subsequently it travels even faster to bring about the decline in his life and then the end of his life. This idea finds expression in the first 12 lines of the sonnet, which then concludes with Shakespeare's certainty that the sonnets which he is writing to celebrate the youth and beauty of his friend would be pursued for all times to come, and would thus preserve his friend's name and his adorable qualities forever and forever. The real feeling behind the sonnet is Shakespeare's appreciation of the beauty and the abilities of his friend, and also his conviction about the permanent appeal of the poetry of his sonnets. The idea of the progress of time has very fantastically been described in the first 12 lines, which lead up to the conclusion about Shakespeare's awareness of his poetic genius in the two closing lines of the sonnet. The similes and the metaphors employed in these first 12 lines are quite appropriate and show Shakespeare's use of appropriate words and phrases, including an occasional felicity in the use of language. The comparison of the hastening of the minutes in the course of human life with the waves advancing towards the pebbled shore is a sound one, and it also contains a vivid and realistic picture of the movement of the waves towards the shore on which there are pebbles. The idea of the slow growth of a child to maturity and the translation of his potential talents into real achievement has also been conveyed in the sonnet very nicely. So these words all about Shakespeare's sonnet number 16, as waves make towards the pebbled shore.